How did a tiny island with absolutely no natural resources, a place that literally had to buy its own drinking water from its neighbor, become the richest country in Asia in just a single generation? Most people assume Singapore's success was just a stroke of luck or purely a byproduct of its geographical location. But the reality behind this glittering hypermodern skyline is a masterclass in high-level business strategy executed with absolute precision. Let's go back to 1965, the year Singapore was abruptly expelled from the Malaysian Federation. The situation was bleak. This tiny island had no oil, no minerals, no agricultural land, and an overwhelmingly high unemployment rate. The founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew openly wept on national television because he knew that leading this impoverished nation to survival was an almost impossible task. But in the middle of that crisis, Lee Kuan Yew and his team saw what the rest of the world missed. They realized that to survive, Singapore couldn't operate like its neighbors. When you have no natural resources to sell, the only thing you have left to sell is trust and absolute integrity. The first strategy Singapore executed was erasing corruption down to its very roots. In the 1960s and 70s, Southeast Asia was heavily defined by nepotism and bribery. Singapore chose a completely different path, establishing zero-tolerance anti-corruption laws that spared no one, not even top officials or the Prime Minister's closest friends. They paid civil servants world-class salaries to ensure that no one needed or dared to take money under the table. This strategy sent a crystal-clear message to global investors. If you bring your capital to Singapore, your assets and your business will be protected by the strictest rule of law. The second strategy was positioning the island as a world-class financial capital and bridge. Singapore opened its doors to multinational corporations, offering massive tax incentives and frictionless legal setups. When Western tech and banking giants wanted to expand into Asia but feared regional political instability, Singapore offered the only safe, predictable harbor. Furthermore, Singapore didn't invest in heavy, pollutive manufacturing. They invested heavily in their people. The education system was completely re-engineered to produce a highly skilled, disciplined, and entirely English-fluent workforce. Step by step, Singapore evolved from a basic transit port into a premier global financial hub, managing the flow of trillions of dollars every single day. The ultimate business takeaway, the quiet luxury lesson of Singapore's rise, is this. In a world full of chaos, noise, and hyper-competition, stability, legal clarity, and an unblemished reputation for integrity are assets far more valuable than gold or oil. When you build a foundation of trust that cannot be replicated, the world's capital will naturally find its way to you. If you appreciate this style of deep, analytical, global business secrets, hit follow so you don't miss our next breakdown. And what are your thoughts on Singapore's strategy? Share your perspective in the comments below.